Welcome back, book nerds. Like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. This is the Stormlight reread. We are on Rhythm of War, Part 4. So let's jump into it. We are in interlude number 7. This is a Szeth interlude. So if you love Szeth, you should know that Brandon is writing a Szeth backstory for book 5. And that makes me excited because I love Szeth. He's one of my favorite characters. He's so fun. So here we get more Szeth being connected to Gavinor. And here he's really thinking about his past, but you don't get any dives into his past. You just get little tidbits. So the backstory that Brandon is going to write is something I really want. Okay, interlude number 8, Cherry, whatever that is. The names, they're just sometimes. So Cherry is a fun character with Risen. And hello, Dawn Chart spoilers, so go read Dawn Chart. Okay, next interlude is a Taravangian interlude with the whole thing with the sword. The sword is important. Why is the sword so important to Taravangian? Okay, now we're on to chapter 73, and this is the Jaxium backstory, the heart-wrenching story. Every time we go into this, it's more just gut-wrenching stuff. Now, chapter 74 is a Venli chapter. We are on present day. This isn't a flashback chapter, thank God, because the flashback chapters I'm just not a big fan of. And luckily, his flashback chapters in this book so far are not giant, in-depth chapters. They're relatively short. Okay, so not a lot really happens in this chapter, except for Venli just scoffing that people have branding, so not really going to talk about it. Chapter 75, we're back with Shallan and Adolin. They're at the trial, and this whole trial plot line, it's going to drag for a minute, and I'm not really a huge fan of it. This is really the first time they showed up in part 4, because they weren't in part 3 at all. I mean, like, why? I mean, I understand part 3 was really moving fast. There's a lot that happened, and maybe if their characters weren't really doing much, then I understand Brandon just kind of leaving them out. Because if you're just going to have a filler chapter where they're just kind of hanging out, what's the point? Okay, chapter 76, Rabaniel and Navani. And these two they go back and forth so well together. It's really neat to see the dynamic that these two have. Chapter 77, Exendwith. What a name. I really feel that she is from Mistborn. And she alludes that she's not the only one, that there are others that have her powers, that have her ability. So is there someone else from Mistborn in this that we don't know about yet? Because, yeah. Okay, chapter 78, Pattern is back. And I'm sorry, we have so many people in this book. I mean, outlining this thing must have been insane. I can't even fathom how Brandon Sanderson can outline a book with this kind of scope, with this many plot lines and people in different worlds. I mean, it's just astounding to me as someone who pictures themselves as an author. I mean, that's crazy. Okay, chapter 79, Relaine is here, Bridge 4. You get some Bridge 4 heartfelt moments in this chapter. Though beyond that, we don't really get a lot here. It just tugs at your heartstrings just a bit. Okay, chapter 80, we have Kaladin and Wit. And I'm sorry, anything with Wit is just a little better. I've said it so many times. I love Wit. Wit is a great character. And Wit's spren is awesome. I love his spren because just like Wit, his spren is a smartass. So, I mean, what other kind of spren is going to bond with someone like Wit? Of course it's going to be a smartass. And I love it. Chapter 82, Pattern is back, but not a lot has really happened. The whole, anything with Shallan, it's kind of slow right here. Okay, Kaladin and Lyran are back, and I'm sorry, he needs to just not talk to his father anymore because he's just a jerk. I mean, the things that he says to Kaladin, I'm like, I'm sorry, aren't you in the medical field? I mean, don't you understand what mental illness is? Because you need to shut up and stop talking to your kid, man, because you do not see him to be the man that he actually is. He just makes me so angry. Okay, chapter 84, we got more Rabaniel and Navani, and I just love them together. Okay, chapter 85 is Kaladin and Davin and Lift, and some more really fun conversations here. Deep conversations, but there's not a lot of pushing the plot forward. It's just more Bridge 4 brotherhood and just reminding Kaladin of his kinship that he has, this found family. When he needs a found family, because he's got a dick of a father, so he needs that found family, so he was given that. And that's basically the point of this chapter. Okay, chapter 86, Venli is trying to find a form that just fits her better. She's here with Echinai, and they're trying to have conversations, but it's just not working. And she just doesn't like who she is right now, and she's trying to find something that just works for her better than it does now. Okay, chapter 87, we're back with Adeline and the trial, and I just have to say I'm not in love with the whole trial plotline. It's not really grabbing me until chapter 87, because it really gets momentum and pulled me back in right here. Okay, chapter 89, Rabaniel and Navani. Why are these two enemies, man? Because they work so well together. They go back and forth expertly. They need to be friends. They need to not be enemies because they are perfect. Okay, chapter 90, the chapter where Adeline snaps. He's usually such a calm person, but he just goes off the rails. And yeah, I kind of loved it a little bit. It just really showed the stress level of the trial. And I needed to see that. I needed to really feel the stakes of it. Okay, chapter 91, we have Teft here, and Teft really thinks that he's relapsed, but then he finds out that he didn't relapse, and it's like, oh, thank God. But then Kaladin is questioning everything. He's questioning everything about himself, like, should he keep fighting? Is it worth him fighting, or is there another way that he could handle things? Okay, chapter 92, Rabaniel just shows how awesome she is. Even though it's a Venli chapter, it's Rabaniel that really shines through and just steals the show. Okay, chapter 93, Formless or Shallan. And this whole thing about Shallan is she's just a cool character. Just her abilities to be able to split herself into all these people. And then these people that act independently of her is just very intriguing. But Formless treats Adeline like crap, and Shallan have zero control? Can she just pull Formless back a little bit? I mean, it is her husband, and Formless is kind of a jerk. And then she finally does pull people back, and everything that they've experienced is suddenly part of her and is really cool. Okay, we're going to go to chapter 96 now. It's a Venli chapter. Venli and Relaine, and there's some good quips by Relaine here, but Venli doesn't really respond very well to them. Okay, we're going to end with chapter 97. This is the end of it. This is Rabaniel and the reasons why. Why has Rabaniel been seeking the knowledge? And the reveal of this is, twist the knife, man. Like, it's hard to deal with. It's hard to read. And now Rabaniel is going to end the war. And end of part 4 of the Stormlight Archive, Rythm of War. Okay, so read fantasy.